upgrades.
We have a limited amount of money that we gain, we collect for drainage, and we just try to do everything we can. We have almost $0 for capital investment when it comes to drainage.
Matt Doyle, WWL First News. Ramsey Green with the mayor's office says one estimate shows that it would take at least $6 billion to completely upgrade the city's water system, both pumps and sewage.
Okay, about a minute to go, and we have no one on the phone.
Forecast on WWL.
You want to make sure you have the rain gear nearby today. The rain will continue throughout much of the day. Some breaks are possible, but heavy downpours in a few spots, which may lead to street flooding, so watch out for that. At least we won't be dealing with the intense heat. It is going to keep our temperatures in check, climbing into the lower 80s this afternoon. I do expect the rain to come to an end as we head into tonight, leaving us with plenty of clouds, with overnight temperatures falling into the lower 70s. Now, Thursday, starting off dry, we might see a little bit of sunshine, but because of the weather remaining pretty unsettled, I do expect showers to start popping up as we head into Thursday afternoon, with temperatures climbing into the mid-80s. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
Here we go.
I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From the station you turn to when it counts, WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app, Louisiana's official emergency management station. This is Ida Recovery Connection with attorney Doug Sunseri. Connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. Now, beaming back to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studio, here's Doug.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, the Ida Recovery Connection. We're on till 10 o'clock. After tonight, we're done for the week. We'll be back next Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday after my Casa show with the Saints show. I think it's the Saints coaches show. Huh? Or with Mickey Loomis. You listen.
I listen.
Yes. And then on Wednesday nights, Coach O. So he's after the Coach O show with Chris Blair. And that's from 7 to 8. So we're on from 8 to 10. We'll be on through mid-October. Real quick on sports.
Okay.
Because I got an interview with WWL for tomorrow. Is they had a ruling by the National Labor Relations Board that college athletes from private institutions are employees. Which will have, and they could unionize.
That's what I heard when they started.
Yeah, and that's something. That's going to change.
That's going to change everything.
In 20 years, we're going to be pining over the good old days in college football because it's going to change. So that's an interesting.
So they're going to unionize.
They're going to unionize.
Oh, interesting.
And I was telling Tom Peruvian when I was doing the show, our own Bobby Hebert. What does Bobby Hebert and Al Davis have in common?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
They both kicked the NFL's butt in court. They're the only two who ever done it.
That's funny.
So when I tell Bobby, when I see Bobby, I tell him that, just because there's the only two. That's the only two entities till I think because the NFL always won all their court cases,
right.
And Bobby got in there in 1990.
What's it going to look like when they're unionized?
I'm not happy about it. It's going to look different.
Yeah.
A lot different. So it's going to change it, but hey, that's what it is. All right, but we're here talking about hurricane insurance.
We are.
And now we had some damage in our house.
We did.
And you can relate.
The frustration of people, and I absolutely understand.
Right, and it's in the frustration. It's just a general frustration level because your house is sort of turned upside down.
Sure.
And, we all like to have, our house things in place. And,
right.
That's where we go to, that's our home.
Get away from the craziness of this world.
And we had some interesting, you had some interesting observations.
Yeah, like we had an adjuster come out right away. Our adjuster. And we did, of course, he went through the house.
Mm-hmm.
We knew we had a bunch of shingles. We already knew the sunroof. We had about 14 gallons of water flowing through underneath our metal roof. But for the rest of the house, we really didn't know about the damages. We saw a little bit, and then maybe about a week later, some water spots showed up in our bedroom. I noticed maybe one of the can lights was not sitting as flush as it had been. But that's really kind of all we saw. We didn't really go upstairs a whole lot. But what I found interesting is it took our adjuster. They came out this Monday.
Yeah, we had a very good adjuster.
We had a really great adjuster. He spent, and what I thought was interesting is he said, I Googled the house. I did a Google map. I could see the size of the house, and I determined how long I'm going to be at houses and set my appointments by the size of the house. And I know that before I go, which I thought was really great because and so he was here. Like, I think you were surprised at how long he was
He was
here.
9-1.
Yeah. And so he found damages he found damage we would have never seen. Some came if he would have come out like the first week, there was damage that came.
Yeah. Well, I had a little secret.
What?
While you were gone and he came over, I invited my friend Vito Corleone to have a cup of coffee.
Oh, he met.
And yeah, and he used to talk about the old days. He used to know, he used to know JFK in the old days.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to give us a good report.
Well, it's going to go to the desk adjuster.
Yeah, it is going to go.
But I think the point you're saying is we did a cursory, I think about within a week after the storm.
I think it was even sooner than that.
And then we found they had a lot of places that accumulated moisture that didn't manifest at that time. And then you started having bubbling, you started having sagging, you started having water spots that wasn't originally there.
Right.
In fact, in our little studio here,
I just noticed one up here
that wasn't there before.
Right.
And now one of the things the advice I had for a lot of people was, especially when you have a lot of water spots, and is take blue tape and put it on the water spots and just go through the entire house, because you can't, if you got 50 or 75 water spots in the house, you can't remember them all.
Right.
And it helps the adjuster too. And one of the things he did say, which is correct, is when you have one panel, like if you have the ceiling, you have to take out the whole ceiling. You can't cut it out. Now, I did hear one anecdote, and a lot of this is anecdotal. And if adjusters, first of all, I want to say they're working hard.
They are working hard.
And it's a tough job, and they're overloaded, and they're up all night doing reports. So what I'm saying is I'm not being critical. And a lot of the information I don't receive phone calls during the day as an attorney and say, you know what, I just wanted to call and let you know my adjuster did a good job. Nice talking to you. Let's have coffee one day.
Right.
So I want to give that context because I don't want to sound hypercritical about it. So I hear the complaints. And so I'm in the complaint department, just like anywhere else.
Yeah. That's what we do.
And so one of the, one I think an adjuster said that, they had a light fixture that was damaged. And he said, well, all we have to do is cut a little square around the light fixture, pull it out, reset it, and we'll repatch it. And you can't do that.
No, you can't,
because you're going to have a different contrast. You're going to have basically like you'll see a square.
Right.
So, those type of anecdotal things. And if you come across a claims adjuster who wants to do something that's clearly wrong, I mean, one of the things you can do is say, okay, let's do this. If he makes a comment, something that doesn't seem right to you. So can we get on the phone with your supervisor and ask him about this issue? Because we just want to get it right. We understand, and in the context of, we just want to get it right.
Well, when they walk through the house with you, is he really telling you what he thinks they're going to do, or is he just...
they're instructed not to.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And a lot of them, what they're instructed to say is, I'm just the eyes and ears.
Right.
And I give it to home office, and they make the call.
Right.
Now, it's some of them may talk a little bit more. And, again, some probably talk when they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And so, but if there's something they're saying... and you have a lot of different personalities,
sure,
just like people, we have different personalities as lawyers. Mm-hmm. And so, if they do say something that's really out of line, you say, look, man, I just want to get it right. Because I know, again, it's very interesting because we're putting up posts all the time on our Facebook. You can go on our Facebook page and you get a lot of great information. You go to idahurricaneclaim.com. We got a lot of great information blogs, on most subjects involving what you're doing. But I also receive feedback. And also I receive a lot of negative feedback from certain segments, insurance companies or insurance agents and that sort of thing. And again, I'm not being critical. It's just the way it is. And what it is the fact that the insurance company, as we're talking about today, is a change of mindset. The insurance company's job is not to establish your damages. And as soon as you get that understanding, your expectations will change and you won't be so frustrated about the process. And you're saying, okay, they did give me this. I disagree with it, but it's up to me to prove the damages. And sometimes you need help to do that. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do. And, whether you call a contractor or, who will charge you for an estimate under Xactimate, or you hire an attorney, that's when you decide to, do that. And we're jumping around a little bit. A lot of people say, when should I hire an attorney? And I think when a good rule of thumb is when you hit the brick wall.
Right.
When you feel like that everything that you're doing is not going to move the insurance company. I'm not so much for hiring an attorney unless you just want someone else to handle the process.
You mean in the beginning?
In the beginning, when you're going to get money. You're going to get money.
Right.
Or unless you're under the deductible. They're going to walk through, especially if you got some significant damage. They're going to walk through your house and say, okay, we're going to give you a check. Now, here's another thing. I've received a lot of phone calls. I said, well, the insurance company walked through. They're going to give me a check, but it's not as much as I like. Should I cash the check? I'm like, absolutely.
Right.
Because they have a duty. Once they quantify damages that they're not disputing, they have to get it out to you. So I get at least 2-3 calls saying, look, I think I have about $80,000 of damages. They want to pay $30,000. I don't want to take it because I just don't want to take it. And I tell them, no. You can take it. It's not going to prejudice you in any form or fashion.
Right. It's not like you're signing it and you're waiving any rights to get any more.
So because they have a duty to make an unconditional tender as to what damages they don't dispute. So if they're not disputing $30,000 damages, they're obligated to give that to you.
Right.
In fact, they have penalties for not doing that.
And I think, and I'm going to say this, there are some people that I have spoken with that they don't understand that if they've hit that wall, that you can go through that wall and it's your right. And I'm not, we do it for a living, but a lot of people don't understand that you have a right to file suit against your insurance company if they're not giving you what your full damages are.
Absolutely not.
And I think some people don't really realize that. They feel like they are at the mercy of what the adjustment company.
But you do have enforcement mechanisms.
Sure, absolutely.
And I will say, this is typically how it may go. Is, let's say there's substantial damage. You had some ceiling collapse. You have 3 or 4 rooms that have substantial damage. And then the adjuster from the insurance company walks through and they say, okay, we're going to write you a check for $50,000.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, this is way low. Well, take the $50,000. Now, where an attorney sort of comes in and say, okay, they may try to get supplements on their own and they hit the brick wall. What we do is we send our contractors, Kevin Manali, Ken Savage, and we send them out to the home and they will do their own estimate using today's pricing, using today's supply costs, which are high.
Right.
They were high before the hurricane because of COVID and supply disruptions.
Right.
They're even higher now.
Right.
And it might come back at, a lot of times the estimates come back anywhere from 33% to 150% higher than.
Especially where I haven't been tracking the lumber prices currently, but
Oh my
in the
goodness.
summer they were
They're outrageous.
astronomical.
They're still outrageous.
So I mean that all affects it.
And so let's say hypothetical is 50. They came back with $50,000. Our readjustment or our assessment may be about $125,000, $130,000. So then we submit that to the insurance company. We remind them they have a duty to pay unconditional tender. And a lot of times they'll get it and they say, okay, we'll pay you another $25,000.
Right.
You've convinced us that we missed $25,000. And they have to make an unconditional tender. And after they make that unconditional tender, when we're convinced that they're not going to make any more payments, we go ahead and file suit. And then we have another powwow, mediation, or meeting with the judge, and they make another payment to settle the case. So often you'll get 2 payments. Now, I'm not saying this to be self-serving, but it is you do at a certain point need an enforcement mechanism to get that rest of the money.
Sure.
And we had Coach, former federal magistrate Joseph Wilkerson on last week, which and he presided over 300,000 Katrina cases.
I know, that was amazing.
And I've been in front of him 400 or 500 times at least, and we sort of understood each other, and that's why we became, I guess, friends. And so I'll tell you on the other side of the break on how he viewed these cases and how they really do settle once they get into litigation.
Okay.
But let's go to a break. It's Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, the Ida Recovery Connection. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Breaking news about the Saints and LSU on WWL is powered by Odyssey and presented by BetQL.
Still no callers.
Get smarter to beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
It's been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. DraftKings is putting new customers in the center of the action with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Get in on the action now. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Feel the NFL action like never before with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings app now and use code BIG870. This week, new customers can get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Enter code BIG870 to get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with your first deposit. That's code BIG870. Only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
As life gets back to normal here, Diamonds Direct is doing our part with a special offer that's guaranteed to make celebrating those important moments easier and more affordable than ever. You can make any purchase at Diamonds Direct now and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And everything's included. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands. Plus, every sale at Diamonds Direct will benefit Cajun Navy Ground Force and Second Harvest. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years, and give back at Diamonds Direct on Severn Avenue across from Lakeside Mall.
I've been getting a few
Jay
texts like
Farner
that.
here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped below 3%, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big. You could lower your monthly payment and prepare yourself for a better financial future. But you've got to act now. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Doing your best work from home is not easy when you don't have the right space. California Closets will help you create a custom solution that works for you, your family, and your life. Whether it's a small space, shared space, multifunctional space, or kids space, our professional design consultants will help you get organized and make your space one that works better for you. Now you can love where you live and work. Schedule your free in-home or virtual design consultation today at CaliforniaClosets.com.
Have you heard all these new national chain store ads that claim guaranteed low price? Like it's something new? Well, it isn't.
No, you did.
Oakland Heart has been offering a best price guarantee for decades on the most exquisite diamond jewelry in the region. It's one reason why Gambit readers once again voted us best local jeweler. Apparently being local and honest means something.
He would charge
for finer diamonds and the best price, shop smart at Oakland Heart on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
Today, I'm taking it to the streets to give people the good news. Oh, excuse me. Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Did you know?
Sorry, who?
Flo. You know, I do commercials.
Oh, okay. I stream TV and radio. You know, no annoying ads.
Okay, hurtful. But did you know Progressive's Name Your Price tool lets you choose options based on your budget?
Wait, you're not going to use this in your commercial, are you?
Well, we were hoping to.
Because I don't really want to contribute to the constant barrage of advertising that adds to the cognitive dissonance, which is in
Hey, on to our next person.
Get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
We're all on this planet together.
Okay,
So
right
join
after this,
us
we'll go live.
and find your one thing. Fruits and vegetables are very environmentally friendly foods. Make them even more friendly by eating them in season and by choosing produce that is local and organic. Shopping at farmers markets are a great way to do both. And start growing fruits and vegetables in your own garden. Even if you live in an apartment, you can start with just a few potted plants. Join Odyssey, And together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Back to the Ida Recovery Connection on the station you turn to when it counts. WWL, the Big 870 AM, 105.3 FM, WWL.com, and the Odyssey app. Contact attorney Doug Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, the Ida Recovery Connection. One of the things we're talking about, change of mindset, as far as the insurance as far as the policyholders, the insurers, you got to quantify your damages. Now, again, if the insurance company pays you fairly, there's no reason to go to litigation.
Absolutely not.
And there's no reason to go to the next step.
No.
This is when you feel like that, or you believe, based on empirical data, on good information, on your research, that you're being underpaid, and you hit the brick wall, and you don't have an enforcement mechanism. Because, one thing is about legal. We settle a lot of cases on the courthouse steps.
Right.
We do that all the time. People say, well, why don't you do it before? Because you don't have that enforcement mechanism where, someone could win, someone can lose. People are spending money to get there. I mean, something about you get people's best offers a lot of times on the courthouse steps.
Right.
When I was doing my agent days, a lot of times I didn't get my best offers till right before training camp.
Right.
Or if I had a good player in training camp.
Yeah, because it's that pressure.
They didn't offer me that salary back in May and June.
Right.
So it's just human nature. And we're not, it's just the way things work. Now, if you become a lawyer, if you have a need to be liked,
you're in the wrong profession.
You're in the wrong profession.
And if you don't have thick skin, you're in the wrong profession.
But it says, okay, so in reference to that, to my very good friend at 0974, maybe we have some coffee. It says, you're advocating for people to file suit against insurance company because you're a sleazy lawyer. Why don't you recommend a third-party adjuster?
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah, and so again, I'm advocating if you're underpaid and you think you have a real dispute and the insurance company doesn't want to address the dispute, sure. That's the only way you're going to get the rest of the money. Now, they're asking me about public adjusters. Public adjusters are a great way to quantify your damages because they use the Xactimate program.
It's the same people that we've...
Yeah, I mean, they use a lot of contractors, and they're good. The two things I wouldn't do, because as a consumer, is you're going to get an initial tender. So I wouldn't necessarily have anybody take a fee off what you're going to get anyway.
Right.
Because you're going to get it whether you have a public adjuster or a lawyer. And same for lawyers. I know some lawyers who are taking a percentage based on the initial tender. Don't do that. I'm saying that as a lawyer. Do not do that. Now, if they want to take a percentage based on new money because you hit the brick wall, sure. And you can shop around rates.
And let me just quantify what you said. Don't do that. There are some that don't want to handle it at all.
Right.
So if you're taking it as a lawyer from the beginning, you're the one helping them file the claims.
Because they don't want to do it.
Because they don't want to do it. That's a different
story. Because they don't have emotional capacity or they have some reason they don't want to do it.
Right.
But if you're not in that situation, I'm going to say this for public adjusters and lawyers. Don't allow a fee to be taken on money that you're going to get anyway.
Explain to them what a public adjuster is and how they get charged.
I think the public adjusters, and I'm going to say this, for Hurricane Katrina, they had a public adjuster, Earl Carr, and people know who he was. Mm-hmm. And the lawyers didn't like him, except for me. Because when Earl would come around, I would sit down, have lunch with him, and pick his brain because he was brilliant. But they had some rules as far as, what could a public adjuster negotiate with insurance companies and warrant. And it was sort of a blurred line as to whether they were acting as an attorney or not. And the Louisiana Bar Association is very territorial about that. And they said they put, some rules down. And it sort of maybe clipped Earl's wings a little bit. I loved Earl. And I thought he was very, very knowledgeable. And he was very helpful to me personally. And I appreciate everything he has done. But I think the two things with lawyers and public adjusters, do not let them charge a fee for the money that you're going to receive already.
Right.
Now, you can, if you want to negotiate something based on the new money, that's a different deal. The second thing I say, the only thing, pros and cons, quantify your damages. But if the insurance company says no, what's the next step? You don't have an enforcement
mechanism.
You could possibly do an appraisal if it's in the policy. But for the most part, the lack of an enforcement mechanism. And a lot of times, for some public adjusters, when that enforcement mechanism, they need one, they'll call us and we'll take it from there.
Sure.
So, it could be in certain situations, the right situation. It may not. But I would just encourage everyone who if you have lawyers, and I know lawyers who are doing this, and I think I have a personal preference against it. But if you're not in a situation where you're handling it, don't allow a fee to be taken on money that you're going to get anyway. Just say, for the new money, let's work something out.
Right.
And so again, my little friend at, 0974, coming from this sleazy lawyer, I think that was pretty good advice. Huh?
I think it was good advice.
And I think a lot of public adjusters do a great job and very, very knowledgeable. And they could, and again, you negotiate with your lawyer, for what you need. I mean, you shop. I encourage you to shop around and call lawyers and say, what deal would you, what kind of rates do you have for this, and get your best deal.
Yeah, and how many, and another thing when you're shopping around the lawyers, see what their experience is, because if you do not know hurricane claims, you can get yourself into a world of trouble.
Yeah.
With proof of losses, when they need to be filed,
and we're going to talk about we'll talk about that on the next break, because floods are different. Right. Flood claims, and this is for St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, and St. Charles. We'll talk a little bit about that. And in fact, there's an issue I'll probably have to get with Commissioner Donlan on. We did that for the Baton Rouge flood, is extending the time periods for proof of losses. But also too, what else did 0974 say about us? Oh, good Lord, you're blanking annoying. So there you go. It's nice to be a lawyer.
At least he's listening.
He's listening. I know. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
He must like WWL.
So, he likes WWL. So it's good. And if he's a public adjuster, I know you guys work hard and do a great job. All right. I'll tell you what, I think let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri. The lawyers.
Listen, I have thick skin.
I got thick skin. All right. We're going to a break. We'll be right back on the Ida Recovery Connection in about 2-3 minutes. I like that.
Yeah, baby. Football's back, and so is tailgating. The Saints VIP tailgate party at Benson Tower is back.
Bigger, better, more delicious than ever.
And WWL has your tickets. 3 hours before Saints home games, all you can eat and drink. Premium open bar, gourmet buffet.
I know.
Just from the Superdome. Go to WWL.com now to find out how to score your tickets. The Saints VIP tailgate party. Now that's living. From BullseyeEventGroup.com and
Boats require a little
WWL.
TLC. That's why I store my boat in Seabrook Harbor Marine's dry stack facility. And when my boat does need a repair, I turn to the craftsmen at Seabrook. Growing up on the bayou, I learned a lot about boat repair yards. And David and Jeff Monts have the finest repair
I didn't have any glory years.
I've ever seen. Jeff, tell us about your capabilities.
Bobby, we are the Gulf Coast's most advanced state-of-the-art yacht and boat repair facility. Be it fiberglass, paint, gel coat, carpentry, mechanical, or electrical repairs, we do it all. We also build custom parts and do complete refits. We are located near the ICW, which makes us accessible from anywhere along the Gulf Coast.
And now, party boat rentals.
What better way to beat the heat than our 24-foot pontoon boat? It's available for half and full day rentals. It's one more reason for us to say, boating made easy.
Seabrook Marina on France Road on the Industrial Canal, just a half-mile from the lake. And online at SeabrookHarborMarine.com. Since 1935, the All-State Sugar Bowl has been a proud New Orleans New Year's Day tradition. Through its annual support of college football and amateur sports, the Sugar Bowl attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors to the state, providing countless opportunities for young people. Resources from these events enable the Sugar Bowl to support education and community programs, impacting thousands of New Orleans area teachers and citizens. The All-State Sugar Bowl, proud to host the best of the Big 12 and the SEC in the Superdome on New Year's Day 2022.
Right here has a big boat that we need to address.
Hi, this is John from the Silver Slipper Casino with more good news just for you. Now when you come and play any of your favorite slots or table games here at the Slipper, any day in October, November, and December, you'll have a chance to win an HD Smart Fire TV every night at 7 p.m. That's right, we're giving away one of these great smart TVs every day for 3 months. We're on the beach here in Hancock County, Silver Slipper Casino. As always, we are proud to be your host on the coast.
Have a good time at the Silver Slipper. When our Saints hit the field, they're prepared. They've got a plan. They've got a playbook. What's your retirement playbook? Whether you're already retired or closing in on retirement, the Retirement Playbook can help you get ready. Get your free copy of the Retirement Playbook right now. Visit saintsretirementplaybook.com. That's saintsretirementplaybook.com. Brought to you by Presley Wealth Management, the official wealth management partner of the New Orleans Saints.
Hi, folks. Joel Myers from my friends at Best Chevrolet. At Best Chevrolet, they know a Chevy buyer is generally looking for three things. Number one, they want a great price. Two, they want a top-notch service department. And three, Chevy buyers want an enjoyable, no-hassle buying experience. I can tell you, you're going to get all three at Best Chevrolet. On Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Kenner, or at bestchevrolet.com. Best Chevrolet, a proud member of the Gale Benson Automotive family of dealerships.
There's a lot of streaming services out there, each filled with reality TV, comedy, drama, and of course, superheroes. But there's one dedicated entirely to nonfiction TV and documentary films, and that's Curiosity Stream. History, science, nature, we've got it. Space, dinosaurs, big cats, we've got that too. And pretty much anything else you want to explore. Go ahead, add some smart TV to your smart TV with Curiosity Stream. Go to curiositystream.com to sign up and start streaming today.
Son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I don't know. I can't explain it.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics. Start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures. Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
All of a sudden they're worried about the death on
Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter?
Okay, Navian will be the last spot.
ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navien's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navien contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Thanks for joining attorney Doug Sunseri on the Ida Recovery Connection from the station you turn to when it counts. WWL. Consult with Doug now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, Ida Recovery Connection. I'm going to give a little primer on flood.
Okay.
Before I do that, we're still going to LSU Auburn, 8 o'clock. We're going.
I know. We have tickets.
It's going to be late night.
I know it's going to be late night. That's
so,
okay.
You think they're going to start TJ Finley or Nix?
I don't know. Probably Finley, huh?
I don't know. I think they're going to start Nix, but they're going to, I think they're going to rotate him back and forth.
You know what? I did talk to me the other day. She said as soon as you get in, you get past all the COVID things. There's no mask. She says it's like the COVID's not even in Death Valley.
Don't get me started.
I just thought I'd tell you that.
That's right. Well, when you see the crowd shots, it is. All right. Going to change a little bit of gears to talk about flood insurance and give a quick little primer on that. St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, St. Charles, they had flood.
Right.
And if you had flood, that's covered by a different type of policy. It is a policy that's it's underwritten by FEMA, and it's administered by some of the insurance companies, but they're not the underwriter.
Right.
The money comes from FEMA, which is the government. And they only basically have 2 coverages that apply, maybe a third after the fact: structure and contents. That's it. There's no penalties for not paying out on time. There's no sanctions for doing that. In fact, when you sue, if you have to sue to get your flood money, you can't even get back your court cost. Because when the government makes rules, they often say the rules apply to everyone else, but it doesn't apply to us.
Right.
It's called a form of immunity. So, but one of the things that in your flood policy is you actually, as it states today, which it will probably be extended, you have 60 days to file a proof of loss with proof of your damages. Some people aren't even going to get back to their house for 60 days, much less a contractor.
Right.
Now, I am sure that 60-day will be extended.
For Katrina, how many they extended
it? Was extended 1 year.
That's what I thought.
For the Baton Rouge flood, I think they extended it maybe 240 days, if I remember correctly.
I think it was 240.
And, we got a very good insurance commissioner. Mm-hmm. Really, really good. I mean, he's a servant. He's not in it for anything but being service, because he could do a lot better not being the insurance commissioner. He could be a lot more lucrative. Right. And I'm sure last time for the Baton Rouge flood, I'd called and said, "Look, man, we're having a hard time getting contractors out here, and could you do what you can to extend the proof of loss?" And so he got with FEMA, got it extended so that people had more time, and I'm sure he's going to do it this time. Sure. But as it stands right now, if you read the FEMA flood policy, it says you have 60 days to prove your damage, file a proof of loss. And the proof of loss is, you can get it off the internet. You Google FEMA proof of loss, and you have to attach a contractor's estimate to it. And then you got to submit it to your insurance administrator, because FEMA's the underwriter. But if you have that time period and you don't file the proof of loss, you lost your right to get a supplement. And that's huge. That is huge. And I have to say, that was when Katrina, Earl Carr, when we started doing the floods and for the homeowners, we went through that very, very, very detailed. And I'd say most of the lawyers at that time did not know about that, and they were very vulnerable with Katrina. Sure. So you file the proof of loss. And with an estimate.
Can you supplement your proof of loss after you file it?
Well, what you do is you file it, and you file it at the highest reasonable estimate, so that it builds you some cushion. And also, you have to do that for your contents. If you don't file this proof of loss, now the extension right now, I think as of now, is probably the end of October, which is a short rope.
It is. Listen, 60 days. It's hard to believe that we're about at 30 now.
I would believe that they are going to extend it. They'll usually 10 or 15 days before they'll issue a bulletin saying we're going to extend this proof of loss.
Right.
So again, the flood, and they have very stringent rules, and they have these FEMA regulations that they can change in midstream. Because when we had maybe I had maybe 100 and some odd claims in Baton Rouge flood, and the attorneys would walk in and say, well, FEMA changed the regulations on this after the fact. And they said, that's what we're going with. And,
So when you say that they changed their regulations
as far as what they're going to pay, for example, air conditioning units.
Gotcha.
They might have a certain requirement for air conditioning units, or they might have a certain requirements as far as replacing the floor. And they say, these are our guidance, and we're following that, and we changed it after the fact. And believe it or not, we still have a handful of cases from Baton Rouge 5.5 years ago that we're banging our head against the wall trying to resolve. Now, when we had the good federal Judge Wilkerson, he didn't put up with all that, man. Yeah. He got these things rolling, and he had Mr. FEMA down and saying, we're going to resolve these cases. I've got a docket to run, and I can't be doing FEMA cases for the rest of my life.
Right.
But, so the ones you don't get any additional living expenses. You don't get debris removal. You don't get all the perks that you do. Now, one of the things that the wind insurers will do is, if you have some flood damage and some wind damage, and you ask for additional living expenses, they're going to say, you're not entitled to additional living expenses because the reason you can't live in your home is due to the flood damage and not the wind damage.
Right. And so it's not our responsibility.
Yes. So, but usually if you have 120 mile an hour winds and your roof's ripped off, regardless of whether you had the flood damage or not, you still would have probably been out your house. So that was one of the things. Now I'm jumping to a lot of St. Charles, St. John, Terrebonne, and Lafourche. Is if you do have wind damages and you can't live in your house because of mold. And there's a lot of people, we had one issue regarding, they said, well, you can live in your house even though you have, sheetrock that's wet and you got mold. And so they called and the guy had a respiratory problem. He said, I can't do it. And so they said, well, okay, since you have a respiratory problem, we're going to pay additional living expenses. And I was like, that's ridiculous. It shouldn't matter.
Right.
I mean, you should not be required to live in a mold-infested environment. Now, what a lot of people are doing, and what I suggest you do, is get a camper, and buy it on time. So, in other words, maybe to a minimum down payment, put a monthly payment, and then submit the invoice for additional living expenses. And when they pay it, you pay the whole thing off. You might have had to pay a few bucks in interest, but that's the best way of doing that because a lot of the St. John, Laplace, they're saying, I can't subject my kids to this.
Right.
Even though, even if they're repairing the first floor, they sleep in the second floor. I can't do that because it's just dangerous to them, and they have, the respiratory issues and that sort of thing. And so they're going to sleep in campers and work on the house during the day. So that would be maybe a possible solution. Look at how much coverage you have for loss of use, additional living expenses. And if you have the sufficient coverage, you can do that. And that's, in lieu of getting an apartment,
right,
in lieu of getting a hotel.
And then you're there to watch your property.
Right. So it'd be much like a FEMA trailer used to be. I mean, they're not doing the FEMA trailer deal like they did for Katrina. And I think Katrina, you had a little different dynamics because the government knew we blew it. We were supposed to build levees to protect these people, and we were twiddling our thumbs and, government bureaucracy getting in the way, and we didn't do our job.
Right.
So they said, we need to do something for the residents of Louisiana because we really let them down. Those days are over in Louisiana. They're tired of sending money down here. So a lot of people who could have gotten trailers based on their additional living expenses in Katrina got the FEMA trailers from FEMA.
Right.
So, but we don't have those days anymore. So you can use your homeowner's policy to do that.
That's a good idea.
So there you go. All right. We're going to take our last break. It's Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri on the Ida Recovery Connection. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Diamonds are true. Only nature can give them birth. Only the best craftsmen can make them come alive. And only those with a true passion for diamonds
Talk about
can lead you to something
reimbursement for
you'll
generators,
love.
please.
Oakwood Heart doesn't move jewelry. We move people
I know.
with handcrafted, ethically sourced, high-quality diamond engagement rings at a smart price.
We're going to have about 6 minutes.
Okay.
That capture your love. After all, that's what's real. That's what's truly beautiful. Oakwood Heart has been creating fine jewelry since 1927. We ask you to look beyond the shine. Shop smart. Choose from our vast collection or let our master craftsmen design and create a one-of-a-kind engagement ring made just for you. Shop online and around town. The more you know, the better we look. Breathtaking diamonds, stunning styles, always at the best possible prices. Oakwood Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text TAP to 321-321 right now. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
Did you get all the stimulus money for you and your family? Do you have children and didn't know you could receive monthly child tax credit payments? You can claim your monthly child tax credit payments and missing stimulus payments, even if you don't file a traditional tax return. Visit ssa.gov/EIP to learn how you can apply online. Get the money your family deserves. Visit ssa.gov/EIP. Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Vinyltech is ready to help our hometown recover. We've tripled our staff and ordered 4 to 5 times more material than Cat 4 Hurricane Michael in Panama City and Cat 4 Hurricane Laura in Lake Charles. This is our hometown, and we know Cat 4 hurricanes and what it takes better than anyone. No one can get you back to exterior pre-storm conditions faster. This isn't a job for us. This is our passion, and this time, it's personal. Services we provide are tarping, roofing, siding, gutters, windows, stucco, and patio covers. One word, vinyltechnola.com.
Tackling your business's finance to-dos can be daunting enough without being slowed down by QuickBooks. More like slow books. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 financial system, no matter how big your business grows. With visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more, NetSuite has everything you need to grow, all in one place. Special financing is back. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program only for those ready to switch today. Head to netsuite.com/radio right now. netsuite.com/radio.
I just put sugar on it.
We know that car wrecks don't keep regular business hours, and neither do we. If you've been hurt in a wreck after 5 p.m., don't wait until tomorrow to get the help you need right now. We have people standing by, ready to take your call, ready to give you free advice, and ready to help you get the medical attention you need. You don't have to wait till tomorrow to call an attorney. Call me, Mike Brandner. We're the 24/7 injury attorneys, and we're available to get you the help you need right now.
Hurt in the wreck, Mike Brandner's the one. Call 345-1111.
Results may vary. Offices in Metairie and Hammond.
As life gets back to normal here.
Okay, we'll go live right after this.
With a special offer that's guaranteed to make celebrating those important moments easier and more affordable than ever. You can make any purchase at Diamonds Direct now and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And everything's included. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands. Plus, every sale at Diamonds Direct will benefit Cajun Navy Ground Force and Second Harvest. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years, and give back at Diamonds Direct on Severn Avenue across from Lakeside Mall.
It's continuing coverage of the Ida recovery on WWLAMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Reach attorney Doug Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri. The Ida Recovery Connection at night. Ian told me. Ian Hope.
What?
He's like my boss, programmer. Anything goes at night.
Really?
He said anything goes. Huh. So I hadn't done anything outrageous.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But
like you're pretty calm.
I still got a couple of weeks to stir it up a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I'll have to listen.
You have to listen. Across the hall, or you come in.
I usually have the radio on in the kitchen when you're on.
We got a text. Did I say it right?
Text. You did.
Text. I'm enunciating properly. Thank you, Mr. Stabler. I had the greatest English teacher at De La Salle.
Every time you talk about enunciation, you talk about Mr. Stabler.
Mr. Stabler, bless his soul.
I know.
He only wore 2 outfits. He wore a blue shirt with a white shirt and a blue tie, or a khaki shirt with a white shirt and a blue tie.
Khaki shirt. You mean khaki pants?
Khaki pants. Yeah. So I guess he was buried in one of those 2. Bless his soul. He's great. Anything goes at night. All right, let's go to the talk and text line. Talk about reimbursement for generators, please, thanks. We had a conversation with that regarding our adjuster. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
He said insurance company's not going to reimburse the generators. And I said, oh, you want to bet?
I know, because we had 2.
We had 2. You want to bet? No, I think the generators should be reimbursed, because what you did is a lot of people if you bought the generators to help mitigate your damages. Like when we bought our generators, we put fans out to sort of dry things out.
Right.
And that's what I told him. I said, we bought the generators because we had a back room that had 16 leaks. And adjacent, they had a brick floor. But adjacent to that, we had wood flooring on the rest of the first floor. And if the wood floor would have got wet,
we would have been talking about.
We would have been well into six figures. And so I told him, I said, we bought these generators and we greatly mitigated the damages. We wouldn't have bought them, but for the fact we were mitigating the damages. Right. And he said, they're not going to pay for it. They're not paying for it. And I said, well, there's going to be a first time. But I do think the generators should be paid for. They might have a separate coverage in some policies, some of the business policies where, equipment, mitigation equipment, but it should be paid for. Just like if you have a contractor we were talking about and you paid them to do the estimate, we turn that in.
Well, it's interesting. The adjuster said we're not going to pay for the generators, but we're going to pay for the gas.
Yes. Now, I know.
I thought that was
that was odd.
I thought that's really odd. So where do you think I've put the gas?
Well, it doesn't say in the policy, and that's where it's a lot of disagreements. And as Judge Wilkerson said, there's three buckets. There's one bucket where there's clearly hurricane damage, and there's one bucket that's not, and then you have a bucket that could go either way. And with the whole homeowners, policyholders do, you say that bucket goes to me, and the insurance company says that bucket goes to us. And that's a lot of times when you get into court, that's where we compromise.
Sure, you negotiate. So half the bucket is you and half the bucket is me.
So you start horse trading there. But I do believe that generators should be, and a lot of the insurance companies are going to say no at first.
Right, and I guess what people have to understand, and this is what sometimes it's hard for a layperson. We want, and I understand it. We want a black and white answer, and the law is often gray,
right?
And it's often up for interpretation.
And I always tell the story when I went to speak to a church, and this was from the mindset of people who said the insurance company should take care of me. I don't like to negotiate. And I told them, I said, look, you read Genesis? I'm not a Bible scholar either. But even though I did have Father Peter at De La Salle. And I said, Abraham negotiated with God. He's like, if there's 40 good people in Sodom, is it Sodom? Will you burn up the town? And God said, no. He went 35, 20, 10. There are 5 good people. Will you burn up the town? He said, no. So Abraham was negotiating with God. Now, if Abraham can negotiate with God, you sure as heck can negotiate with State Farm and not be a problem. So that's what you have to do.
You do. It is a change of mindset. It's a paradigm shift, and that is so hard for some people to shift the way they see things.
Right. So, with the generator is you make your case. 1 minute. You say, if I didn't get a generator, we might have had $10,000 or $15,000 more damage.
Sure.
I saved the insurance company a lot of money because I took proactive steps to get fans out there and dry this place up that you don't have to pay for. Right. So you're going to pay for my generator. And if you don't, maybe you have to take it to the next level with an enforcement mechanism. So there you go. Well, Michelle, thank you for joining. It was fun.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back we're not going to be on Sunday because the Saints play the Giants at home. Welcome home. They should kick. Giants are pitiful. I think Tulane and the Giants would be a close game. And then Tulane's good. I mean, they're good. They had a rough start. So we'll be back next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock after the Saints show with Mike Haas. And so we'll be back next week. So be good. Be blessed. We'll see you next week on the Ida Recovery Connection. See you then.
All right. See you next week.
Thank you.
The News Talk Sports Powerhouse. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
Hey, Doug, thank you very much. Good night.